Hey, it's your girl, Chef Evelyn here, and I wanted to pop in for just like a random impromptu live because I was having a conversation with somebody about a week ago, and I was like, I was thinking to myself, like, this might serve the family over on YouTube. And I know I just dropped a video yesterday as we are in this series about how to charge premium prices in your food business. But, you know, as we are going through this series and I'm sharing with you, what I've learned over the years about charging higher prices in my food business, in my consulting business, with my corporate clients, things like that, I do know that there are some intrinsic things that you need to be able to charge higher prices. And, one of the things that some of my clients tell me is like, I watched your videos, and this is before they started work with me. And they're like, I watched your videos, I increased my prices, and then people stop paying or I stop booking clients. And they're like, I don't know what happened. I know that I can charge more. I know that I want to charge more. I know that I'm worth more, but they can't figure out why people won't pay their higher prices. And the reality is there's so many things that go into that, right? So let me know in the comments if you have been enjoying the series of videos that I've been putting out about charging higher prices, because I really fundamentally believe that the days of like overworking and under earning for our industry are over. When you look at the great resignation, if you will, it's really our community saying, we are tired of long hours, low pay, or under earning. And the same is true in your business. Like, if you are working a lot and you're like, I know I'm really good at what I do, and it's just not really bringing in the kind of revenue that I know it could, or that I know it should be bringing in, then this is the session for you. And I'm not going to hold you long because I got things to do, and I get to talk to my group coaching clients tonight. But here's the thing, the reason why I would say the main reason why people aren't paying your higher prices is because you do not have confidence in those higher prices. And let me explain. I am not saying that you don't have confidence in your abilities. You do. I'm not saying that you don't have confidence in your skill set or your food or whatever product or service you offer. You absolutely do. What you don't have confidence is that people will actually pay those prices, and why they would pay you those prices. So let me say that again. The reason why people aren't paying your higher prices, you've been watching these videos and you're like, Chef Evelyn said I should increase my prices, so I'm going to increase my prices. And then you're like, I got crickets. Like, nobody's booking, nobody's coming through. Like, what happened? It's because you don't have the confidence that somebody will pay you specifically. So that people can charge higher prices. You have been, looking around at other people's websites. You've been looking on their social media, seeing how much they're charging, and you're seeing that other people are charging more and getting this. So you believe that it is possible. Like I said, that you are good at what you do. Your food is good. You have the skills, but it's that disconnect is that you don't believe that they will pay you the higher prices, right? And let me tell you what the missing ingredient in that is. It's confidence, right? And a lot of times, when we hear that, we're just like, okay, great. That doesn't help me at all, right? But the reality is that there's a formula, at least in this genre, on how to have the confidence to charge higher prices, right? And it's one of the things that I work with my clients with, like when they first come on, is walking them through a process, because increasing their prices is something we do very early on, but getting their mind to catch up with these new prices, it takes some time, right? And so one of the things that I talk about in my high-end culinary brand masterclass is like, the 7 elements that it takes to build a high-end culinary brand. But the other thing that I touch upon briefly is like, you have to have the confidence to charge higher prices. And I was thinking about that masterclass the other day, and the reason why I'm deciding to do a live session on the 14th of this month, which is a Sunday, I'm going to do like a expanded like 2-hour version, is because I really want to take you through the exercise that I take my clients through so that you have the confidence to charge higher prices, because there's 4 components to that formula, and we can't really get into it today because it would take too much time. That's why I want to reserve that time on the 14th. But it's like, you got to make a decision. Like you have to become unavailable for the alternative, which is working really hard in your business and it's still not quite hitting, your monetary goals, not quite hitting the goals you set for yourself, right? Because here's the thing, and I talk about this in the masterclass and I'll talk about this here. It takes the same amount of time, the same amount of effort, the same amount of energy to charge $1 for something, $10 for something, $100 for something, $1,000 for something, and so on and so forth, right? And so the difference is having the confidence to be able to charge those prices, right? And so in addition to walking you through that 7-part framework, I definitely want to spend a significant amount of time walking you through kind of my 4-step process in like workshop style on what the elements are to be able to have the confidence to charge higher prices. And I'll tell you a story. I remember, and if you've been watching my videos for any amount of time, you might have heard me tell this story, but I remember that I had went to a conference, like a business conference, and it was like a 3-day business conference. And as with many conferences, once you get to a certain point, there's going to be some kind of sales pitch for you to continue the work there, and the continuity of care is what my client says, in growing your business. So like that doesn't bother me at all. Like I tell people, like, if you don't like being sold to, then you probably shouldn't be an entrepreneur, because you're going to be selling to people all the time. So that's just a little side. So, okay, I knew that was coming. And what I was surprised was that the woman who got up to present her offer was charging a really, really high ticket offer. We're talking about like multiple 5 figures, right? And typically when I had seen people getting ready to offer their products or services, like their language changes, their body language changes, the way they talk, the speed, the energy in which they talk, all of that changes, right? And so I remember that she did it so effortlessly and so matter-of-factly and so calmly, right? And I remember thinking, like, this woman is asking for like what is the equivalent to some people's annual salary, and she is doing it without breaking a sweat. She's doing it without missing a beat. She's doing it with without hesitation. And I remember thinking to myself, like, I want to learn how to do that in my own business. No, I'm not charging what she's charging, but I was like, I want to have that same level of ease and effortlessness and just casualness about charging something that's super duper premium. And when I really had time to reflect on what I was watching, it was the confidence. She could have been charging any number, right? But what I was really observing was that she was sure that she was sure that she was sure that this was a no-brainer and that it was for the right people and it wasn't for a certain group of people. And I remember thinking to myself, I need to know how to do that. And so I ended up working with her to learn how to feel confident in my prices, because what I have found is that people can give you the formula to something all day long, but if you don't have the confidence to execute it, it doesn't matter. It's kind of like if a world-renowned architect says, I'm going to give you these blueprints and these instructions on how to build your dream home, right? But you don't have the confidence that you know how to build, and you're not sure if you have the right tools, and you're not sure, like, if something goes wrong, you don't know how to fix it. Like, if you don't have that, then you're not going to be confident that you can build this dream home despite having this world-renowned architect give you the blueprint of the step-by-step guide. And I find that comes up a lot when it's in, whether it's in like coaching programs or courses or things like like that, that there's this an assumption that you will have the confidence to do what they're teaching you. And so they're just giving you the step by step, the 1, 2, 3, the XYZ, but not really helping you shore up your belief, your confidence that that you are worthy to receive higher prices, that people will be willing to pay you higher prices, that you have the ability to communicate your higher prices, that there are people who will actually pay your higher prices, right? And when I teach this concept to non-chefs, as I sometimes do, one of the examples that I like to give them is that, if you're a woman like me, like I love makeup, and I am particularly partial to luxury makeup, like high-end luxury makeup. So not a huge drugstore fan. I prefer more high-end luxury makeup, just my personal preference. You may be that way about hotels. You may be that way about purses. You may be that way about your car, your house, your food, whatever. We all have some level of fancy. Okay, we all have some level of fancy that we subscribe to. And so luxury beauty is just one of mine. And one of the examples I often like to give is that there's a reason why there's $4 lipsticks and $40 lipsticks and $90 lipsticks, right? And there is a reason why each one at those different price points are successful, and that all of them there's a market for the people who want $4 lipsticks, and there's a market for the people who want $40 lipsticks, and there's a market for people who are willing to pay the $90 lipstick. And yes, are there some business things in play that differentiate that $40 lipstick from the $4 lipstick and the $90 lipstick from the $40 lipstick? Absolutely. And I teach my clients how to do that in their food business every single day, right? But also, underneath all of that is that company or that person or that brand had to have the belief that they could charge that it was worth that, and that there was a large enough audience of people who would pay that, right? At every level. And again, like I said, all of them are successful. There's a reason why you can get a $5 hamburger or a $35 hamburger or a $55 hamburger, right? Like, and there's an audience for each one of those. And so when it comes to why aren't people paying your higher prices, is because if you don't have the confidence, they may not be able to pinpoint it. They may not be able to tell you what it is, but they can sense it. They can feel it. They can kind of smell it. It's kind of like a spidey sense, right? Like you can kind of tell if somebody is confident in what they're doing, or if they're kind of reaching and they're not quite what they want to be in regards to that. And so one of the things I want to do is like I said earlier, I want to walk you through, in addition to what are the technical things that makes a brand be able to charge $40 and $90 for a lipstick instead of $4, but also the exercise that I take my clients through on how to have the confidence to communicate, ask, and get those higher prices. And so, if you're like, Evelyn, yeah, I've been watching the videos and I want to charge higher prices. I know that I can. I'm not really sure what justifies that. I'm not really sure what goes into that. And yes, I need to have the confidence. Like, I need to believe that people will pay me, and I need to believe that those clients exist. And I also need to be confident in the number that I give people. Then I want you to go to highendculinarybrand.com and register for the live version of that workshop. So, the current masterclass is about 90 minutes. The live version is going to be about a 2 to 2.5 hour actual working workshop. This week, the investment is only $97, right? So like super duper, approachable to do that. And then each week until we get to the masterclass, it's going to go up in investment level, right? So I wanted to come on to my YouTube fam. I introduced it to my email fam yesterday. I wanted to come on and let you guys know about it. I've never taught this live before, but I wanted to take aspects of what I do with my one-on-one clients And I wanted to share with you because we're in the holiday season. I know you're booking gigs. I know you've got contracts coming out. And if you're not in that space, I know you're thinking, okay, like I'm going to ramp up next year. And I want to make sure that you are getting paid what you're worth. The idea that we should be happy that we're just living our passion is enough. Like that's old news, right? Yes, was our industry, originally considered blue collar and low hours and long play, and there's nothing wrong with that. But that's not the only option anymore, right? And so I want to show you how to take the skills that you already have in your food business and be able to charge a premium for that. Because here's the thing, and let's just be real here. And I think a lot of times people don't want to talk about this because they don't want to sound like greedy, or they don't want to sound, like they're all about the money. But the reality is, if you really were to get honest about the kind of life that you really want and how you really, really want to function, I don't care if it's how often you want to take off, or I don't care it's how often, how many hours a week you want to work, or, how many times you want to spend the holidays with your family, or how many vacations you want to take a year, or what kind of house you want to live in, or what kind of car you want to drive, or just the kind of, you want financial relaxation, right? You just don't want to be stressed about money, right? Or the way you want to donate, or how you want to take care of your kids, or, the kind of gift giver that you want to be. Like, that was a huge one for me. I love giving gifts to people. And I remember, like, when I couldn't give the kind of gifts that I wanted to give, and it would frustrate me, right? Or how you want to take care of yourself, or how you want to rest, or how you want to dress, or, like what makes you feel good about yourself, right? Like, whatever your reason, that takes money. And so for us to act like that, being in this and I just want to do it for the love of it. Yes, we do. But also, if that's not reciprocated and we're putting all of this energy and all of this time and all this effort and we're not getting the reward of it, right? That's the quickest path to burnout. I think about the fact that, like, some people go into work that they love, and the reason why they leave is not because they didn't love the work. They were burnt out. They were sacrificing their quality of life. They were sacrificing what they really, really wanted to be able to do that. And so I want to show you that you don't have to do that. You can have both. I think a lot of times we're taught that things are either or, that either I can work in my passion or I can make the kind of money I want to make and have the life that I want. And I'm telling you that there is an and. You can have both. You just need to know how to do that, and you need to have the confidence to do that. So if you want to join me for the live workshop of how to charge premium prices in your food brand, go to highendculinarybrand.com. I'm going to put it in the chat. If you go to highendculinarybrand.com and sign up for the workshop, hold on, culinarybrand.com. Sign up for the workshop. Like I said, the investment is only $97. I don't even think I've done this kind of workshop for this, low of an investment, but I definitely feel like it's going to help you kick off, either this holiday season or as you start thinking about next year. I definitely think it's going to, get you on the right path to charging worth your worth, because my goal is to make sure that women are well compensated. Period. The end. Right? This has nothing to do with the patriarchy. This has nothing to do with men. This is my passion for you, is that you can have the kind of life that you want, whatever that is. Like, I'll tell you a story. I remember when I was working in engineering and I really wanted to be a chef, and I was working in an environment where I couldn't polish my nails. And I know this is going to seem so random. I couldn't polish my nails. And I remember I had bought this really pretty, I think it was Essie. I think that was the brand at the time. Essie nail polish called Pinkalicious. Okay. And I remember saying, okay, well, when I'm off on the weekends, I'll polish my nails. Right. But then I would get to the weekends and I would be super duper tired and I wouldn't polish my nails. Okay. And so I was like, okay. And this went on for years. Right. And it was just like this little, I know this is very first world, but it was like this little pebble in my shoe about wanting to polish my nails. So, fast forward, I end up going to culinary school. And then I end up, working nights, weekends, and holidays, and in the kind of environments that I was working in, I couldn't polish my nails, right? And so I was just like, I really want to work for myself, and I want to set a schedule and set up the kind of business that if I want to wear Pinkalicious nail polish, I can do that, right? And I remember, y'all, like, I know this sounds super dramatic, but like, as a woman, I think you're feeling me. And like, your thing may not be nail polish, but I think you're feeling me. Like, I remember when I finally got to a point where I was like, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to paint my nails, and I can be in food, and I can earn the kind of money I want, and I have the time to do it, right? And I remember, like, it was such an emotional thing, and because it wasn't about the nail polish. It was about, like, that I had finally created a lifestyle that allowed me to do even the most mundane things that were important to me, right? And so somewhere we've picked up this belief that we have to choose. And what I know is that while making more money doesn't answer everything on life, right? But it does help with some things, not having to ask for time off, right? Not having to choose, well, I really want to go on vacation, but, right, I don't have enough days or hours left, or I really want to start treating myself like this. I really want to have this kind of self-care, but Nessa says, I get this, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, let me give you, here's another example. I remember when I first started allowing myself to get back into makeup. And ladies, I want to say this. Don't make what you want wrong. So many times I found myself saying, you don't need that, and that's not important, and oh, that's frivolous, and that's wasteful, and oh, it's such a first world problem, and all of these things I did to make what I really, really wanted wrong, right? So I'm gonna give you an example. This goes back to the luxury beauty. There was this lipstick that came out, and I thought it was beautiful. Not just the color of the lipstick, but the packaging was beautiful, the presentation was beautiful, and the lipstick was not cheap, okay? It was like the cost of somebody's monthly cell phone bill. And I remember I just fought and fought and fought and fought with myself, like, why do you need a lipstick that's this expensive? Why do you need this? Why do you need that? Blah, blah, blah. Nobody's going to be able to tell the difference. And what I realized was that it wasn't about that. It was about, but this is what I want. And at some point in my adult life, I'm going to have to decide, am I going to keep living my life in a way where I don't allow myself how old do I have to be to justify this? When am I going to give myself permission to just really be who I want to be? And let me tell you what I realized about me. It takes a certain amount of money to be the kind of woman I want to be. There's a certain way I want to live. There's a certain decor I want to have. There's a certain amount of rest I desire. There's a certain amount of self-care I want. Getting my nails done. Like, I'm leaving here to go get a fill after this, right? There's a certain amount of free space I want in my calendar. When my friends get married, I want to give them this kind of gift, right? When the holidays come around, I want to treat my loved ones in this way, right? When I see things that I care about in the world, I want to be able to donate in this kind of way, right? And so I realized that I was like, so I had to make a decision. Either I was going to be uncomfortable and forever tell myself, no, I can't do this, and no, I can't have that, and no, and you don't need, or I was going to have to figure out a way to earn the kind of money that allowed me to say yes, right? So, and I was like, so you're either going to have to say no to constantly not being who you really are because you know that you like a certain level of fans. That's how God made you. He knows that he made you, that you like nice things and like free space in your calendar. You're either going to be honest and live that truth, right? Or you're going to keep stuffing and trying to satisfy what you want with things that don't satisfy. And so I remember there was this eyeshadow palette that I wanted because I wanted this certain color scheme. And it's not a color scheme that I wear very often, right? So in my mind, I was like, oh, I don't need this more expensive palette because I really don't wear those colors that often. And, I don't need it, right? I don't want to be wasteful. I don't want. So what I did was I went out and I bought a much less expensive version of the colors that I wanted, right? And I got it and they were fine. And I didn't really like it. And so what did I do? I went out and I bought another, different eyeshadow palette with these colors in it. And, was like, okay, this might be a little bit better. And then I bought another. And then finally I said, this is not what you want. Like, get what you want. We have to stop making what we want wrong. And so I know that if you are watching these videos, if you've been hanging out on my channel, you like what you like. You're used to a certain kind of lifestyle. You have certain desires that you want, and none of them are wrong. I don't care if because you want a certain type of, headboard in your bedroom, if you only want a vacation at a certain kind of place, if you've made the decision that any flight over 3 hours has to be first class, like whatever it is, if it's, I want to be able to donate in this way, or I need this certain level of income so I can have this kind of space in my calendar to do the things that are important to me, none of those are wrong. So from lipsticks, right, to mission trips, none of those are wrong. Right. And allowing yourself to say that's okay. And that is why I teach about how to charge premium prices in your food business, because I think especially in our industry, we have been taught to settle for less. We have been taught to we have been taught to accept the bare minimum. We have been taught to overwork, exhaust ourselves in the sake of our love for food and our passion for food. And it's just like, that's not sustainable. So when we look at this great resignation and we look at our industry specifically and why people are leaving, it's because it's not sustainable. So I've got about 2 minutes for some questions. And if you want to type your questions in the chat, I saw that Nessa says for years, right? Yeah, but like, if you want to learn the framework that it takes on what you need to have in place to have a high-end culinary brand, go to highendculinarybrand.com. The workshop for this week is only $97. It's going to be on the 14th of November, which is a Sunday, right? Because I wanted to give you plenty of time as we get ready to go into holiday season to really work that in. It will go up next week to $127, and then it'll go up to $147 after that. And it's gonna be a workshop, so it's not just gonna be a webinar where I'm talking and whatever. We're going to be walking through. We're going to do like a self-assessment on your business so you can know where you are, right, in regards to the steps on how to build a high-end culinary brand. So I'm going to walk you through my 7-part framework, but we're also going to really deep dive the exercise about how to have the confidence to charge premium prices, because I have a formula that I know is going to help you. It helped me, it helps my clients, and we are going to walk through that. So do we have any questions that kind of about like why people, I know I kind of went off on a tangent, why people don't pay your higher prices? Is because you don't have the confidence, right? That either those people exist or that they will actually pay you. And I want to show you very systematically formulate, in a formulaic format, how they will, right? So Nessa says, can we chat directly? I truly like your help. So Nessa, the way we can chat directly, the only option that I have available is for people to book a consultation call with me. There is an investment for that call. And so I will put the link here. And basically what happens is because, to really honor your business, and your goals and things like that, I kind of don't like to do just like one-off advice. So what I do is that link will take you to an questionnaire, if you will, where I'll find out more about you and your business and kind of what your goals are, so that I can prepare for our call. And then once you complete that call, it will prompt you to schedule a consultation. There is an investment for that. And so with that, then you will book a call with me. It's usually about 45 minutes to an hour. where I'm going to ask you some more questions and we can get down to like, what are the obstacles that are getting in the way from you reaching your goals, right? So if that's something that you're interested in, then you can definitely go to that link that I put in the chat, which is bit.ly/chef apply, and that'll take you to that questionnaire. Vanessa says, this workshop sounds awesome. Yeah, it's going to be really, really good. I've done it, with my private clients, and they're like, oh my gosh, like that it gives them like, I know where I am. I know what the next steps are. I know where I need to go. And particularly the exercise that we're going to do about the confidence piece, because, if you caught what I was saying earlier, that you can have all of the tips and tricks and step-by-step in anything in life, but if you don't have the confidence to do it, then it's not going to work, right? And I gave the example about the architect. Like a world famous architect could give you the tools and the blueprint to build an amazing house, but if you don't believe that you actually can build a house, it doesn't matter if you have all the tools and the blueprints in the world, right? And so I think that's what's missing from a lot of programs or things like that. Yeah, you're welcome. It's my pleasure. I think that element is missing, and I know it was missing for me too, that, for years I took courses and classes and I thought that I was lazy, right? Like I was like, why aren't you implementing the things? And it wasn't that I was lazy, it was that I didn't implement because I didn't have the belief that it was going to work for me. And then once I had the belief, aka the confidence that it would work for me, implementation came a lot easier, right? So I'm super, super excited about it. Hopefully I will see you in the workshop. And I know I wasn't going to say this until later, but for people who do book a consultation call with me for the month of November, specifically before November the 18th, then they would get access to this workshop included in that investment. And I normally don't do that. They're normally two separate things, right? So anyway, are there any other questions before I head out? Because one of the things that's important to me is getting my nails done, and I'm going to go get those filled before I have my group coaching call with my clients tonight, which is such a joy to work with an intimate group of women who are building these amazing culinary brands, these premium priced, high-end culinary brands, to work with them in a group setting and to also work with them one-on-one. And so we are spending tonight prepping for Q1 of 2022. So that's kind of what we've been focused on for our past two sessions, is not just helping them plan for their, business growth and goals for Q1 2022, but also some non-monetary goals as well, because it's important to me that your life prospers as well as your business. And a lot of times, at least it's been my experience, and maybe, if you're watching this live or if you're watching the replay, you can tell me if you've experienced this, where you've taken a course or a program and the information was great, but it's like it didn't acknowledge the things that were going on in your life. And it's like, I need help, like, to navigate how to keep going in business when life is still happening around me. And so I love that I get to do that, which is why I like working with a small knit group of people. So with that being said, I know there's sometimes a little bit of a delay. If there are no more questions, I hope to see you in the workshop on Sunday, November the 14th. All of the details are at highendculinarybrand.com. Like I said, it's only an investment of $97 this week, and then the price will be going up and up until we reach the time for the workshop. So don't hesitate, don't waste time, make a decision. If it's for you, great. If it's not for you, fantastic. But for those of you that it is for, I look forward to being in there, because we're letting go of the anxiety of not, of overworking and under earning. We're leaving that in 2021. We're not taking that in 2022. Okay. We're leaving attracting the kind of clients that really can't pay for our services. We're leaving that in 2021. We're not taking that in 2022. We're leaving, giving away the horse and the cow for free, working for exposure, doing all that. We're leaving that in 2021. We're not taking that in 2022. The exhaustion, the overwhelm, the stress, the anxiety. We're leaving that in 2021. We're taking that in 2022. And if that sounds like the season that you're in and you want something to do, like, listen, this is the time, right? As you're preparing and you're starting to think about how, we've been in this panorama for almost 2 years, and it's like something's got to give, right? So if I'm going to be working for myself, then it needs to be better than having a job. I need to be compensated well for what I do. And for those of you that sounds like you, then I look forward to seeing you. So go to highendculinarybrand.com. Like I said, sometime this week, the price will be going up. I don't know exactly when, so I wouldn't take your chances. Like I said, it'll go from 97 to 127, and it's going to go from 127 to 147. And I'm teaching that live. So listen, there's special things that happen, okay? Like, you don't want to miss out. So with that being said, I'm going to say goodbye, and I hopefully will see you in the workshop. Peace.